G. Kelly Dixon here. I have a list of questions that some of you guys have asked me, so I'm going to address them. And, we're just going to, I'm going to be as candid as possible. If you guys obviously have questions, feel free to email me or send me a message. And who knows, maybe I'll speak about it in one of my videos. So the first question I have is the market at a good place right now? It depends on what side of the fence you're on. If you're a seller, you're in a very good place right now. If you're a buyer, there's a lot of competition, a lot of money, low interest rates, and a lot of demand. So you're paying a premium right now if you're a buyer. The thing about real estate is there's always a way to make money. You just have to know what part of the cycle that you're in. So as a seller, it's a beautiful time to be a seller right now. As a buyer, you have to work very hard to find projects that are going to make you the type of money that you're going to require in order to meet your returns on capital. So I think that the pop media, when they speak about real estate, they always talk about real estate housing prices and boom. But as an investor, it's never a good or bad market, so to speak. It's just understanding the timing in the market and positioning yourself correctly in order to make money. And obviously, right now, the money is being made selling. Even though there are still speculators buying and selling and fixing, but you have to also be aware of the timing in the market and proceed with caution as well. So, second question: what credentials do I need to invest in real estate? Nothing. Find a deal. There's no resumes to fill out. There's no interview process. You just need to be hungry enough to go out and find a good deal, and a deal where somebody can make some money. When I started, I had gotten laid off. Actually, yeah, I got laid off, sort of, from a job, and I just said I'm going to be a real estate investor. And that was really, my start. And at the time, I didn't have any credit, and I was very low on capital. When I was saying very low, I mean that I could pay for where I live, and that's about it. It's really just, okay, go find a deal that has money and take it to an investor, and you'll make money. And if you're smart with your money, then you can actually grow it and learn the business and do well. But no, there's no resume requirement. Now, if you do have money and good credit and capital and access to capital, yes, life is a lot easier, but you can build those things up as you go. You don't need it to start out. Question 3. If I have a property, can I use that as a starter, a starter property, or for more property? Yes, you can, if it has equity. So if you have a property and there's equity in it, you can ask for a loan against it to get capital, a line of credit against the property, and use that capital to go out and buy more assets. I did a video recently, and we talked about the amount of equity that Americans have made over the last decade. And it's about $10 trillion in equity that has been accumulated. Even people that have bought 2-3 years ago have a decent amount of equity in their home. So you can draw down on that and actually go out and buy capital. And buy real estate. The one thing that you have to be very cognizant of is that the reason that you have to understand money first to fully understand investments. So you have a nest egg. It's not about chipping at your nest egg to do, I'm going to be candid, dumb shit. You actually want to take the nest egg and invest the nest egg and take as little of that profit as possible. And eventually, as that nest egg grows, the amount of drip that nest egg creates will allow you to be able to spend more, and it'll support your lifestyle plus some. But when you pull that $20,000 out, a lot of people want to buy cars, they want to go on vacation. They don't want to take the money and let it work. And that's really how you have to discipline yourself in order to watch your capital grow. If you don't have that discipline and you pull that money out and you want to go on vacation, you want to be honest with you, some people would say, yeah, I get to pull this money out and pay for your kid's school. It's actually better to go into an investment. And the reason I say that is you can borrow money for your child's college education or their school at 5-6%. It's the same thing as going out and getting a loan. Keep the cash in your pocket and make sure you use that capital to invest. Then once you make money on that investment, use that income to pay back the loan, but you're still growing that money. So you have to. It's just having the right mindset in order to grow the capital via a real estate vehicle that is probably the most important if you're pulling out your own equity. And never bet the house on one deal. So you want to kind of don't bet your whole savings on one deal. Any deal can go south. Anything can happen. As you learn and get better, try to diversify different projects and be willing to bet on yourself. A lot of us aren't willing to bet on ourselves, but be willing to bet on yourself and learn the process. And I think you'll do well. Do you need a license to buy real estate? No, you don't. That's the beautiful part about it. You can wake up tomorrow and say, I'm a real estate investor. And you can find a deal and make it happen. So to that question, you definitely do not need a license to buy real estate. Okay. Does real estate honor 40 acres and a mule? I wish they did. You guys haven't noticed. I'd probably be a descendant of somebody that got that 40 acres and a mule. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen, so we're just going to move on with that. What percentage of a down payment do you need to buy real estate? That depends. It depends on the deal. The thing about, I want everybody to get out of their head that there's a right way or a rigid, structured way to do real estate. You can sell real estate like you can sell your shoes, a pair of jeans, a mixtape, whatever, a watch. Really that simple. So it's really whatever you negotiate. I've negotiated plenty of deals where I didn't have any money down and I was able to take over a property. I've negotiated deals where I've way more than 20% down because I really love the deal. So it's really how you structure it, and it's a deal by deal basis. If you're looking to buy conventional and get an FHA type of mortgage, you're looking at 3 to 3.5%. If you're looking to go conventional, with a bank, just traditional bank, 80-20 rule is in effect. They'll lend you 80%. You put down 20% plus closing costs. But those are standards. Hard money, it fluctuates, but you can get. I've seen hard money guys do 100% of the deal if they really love it. 90% on the purchase, 100% of the construction is out there right now. I see 80% of the purchase, 100% of the construction. I've seen 90% of the purchase, 90% of the construction. So there's definitely money out there, and then you get into commercial, bridges, and stabilized. But 80-20 is a rule of thumb unless you're doing some type of government-backed program. But you guys can be more creative than that. If you don't have a down payment, that's not an excuse not to be investing. From first agreeing to make a deal, how much grace period do you have to back out of it, so to speak? I'm trying to understand the gist of this question, so I'm just going to address it the best way I can. From what it appears to be is that this person is asking if they go into a contract or have an agreement, how long do they have to back out of it? And the quick answer is whatever you negotiate. So you can do an option contract. So I'm about to close on an option contract that said I'm going to give you, an option fee, and I'm going to have a year to make up my mind. And the reason I'm going to have a year to make up my mind because I like the deal now, and the deal is going to take time, but I may not like it in 12 months. And I want to have the option to not buy. And if I can work the deal, which I will for those 12 months, I may be able to add value to it. So the price that I've negotiated today, I'm actually walking into equity without having to actually purchase it. So I'm actually gaining control of the property without having to purchase it up front. But a typical contract is, I don't want to say typical contract because it's not really a typical contract, so to speak. And I don't want you guys thinking typical, it's whatever you negotiate. So you just tell the owner this is what I need and tell them why, and they can accept it or reject it. But every deal has circumstances where you may need a longer time to close. But just to put labels on what we're discussing, typically when you go into a contract, they usually give you what's called a due diligence period. So we agreed. I haven't seen much because obviously you don't want to give me all of your financials if we don't have a deal or a contract in place, and I'm just going off of what you've told me. So now that we've agreed to a price and we go in the contract, I have 2 weeks to review your financials, to do my due diligence to make sure what you said is correct. Now, 2 weeks is a rule of thumb. It can be 60 days, that due diligence period. It could be 45 days. It could be 90 days. Again, it's really what you negotiate. So, that due diligence period is that time frame in which you would actually do your due diligence to check the property out to make sure that everything is what they say it's supposed to be. And if it isn't, then obviously you can back out of the deal and get whatever money you put down, or whatever down payment you put down, you can get that back. But that would be an earnest money deposit. After that due diligence period, if you have not backed out of the deal, typically what that means is your money has gone hard. And that means if you back out of the deal at this point, you would actually lose your capital. But as far as that's concerned, anything you negotiate is how it's going to work. Sometimes you can go to an owner and offer them more money, but you want to take a longer due diligence, or you're not going to put down, you're going to put a very small down payment, or you need a longer due diligence, or whatever the case may be. So it's really up to you and how you negotiate. Usually it's a give and take. I give you something, you give me something, and then we meet in the middle somewhere. Last question here. What is a decent amount of money for startup, if there is such a number? I'm going to give you a number, all right? Okay? I'm going to give you a number. 720. That's the number I want you to remember. 720. Why am I saying 720? They asked me what's a decent amount of money to start up, and I say 720. You're going to learn in this business that you can borrow money a lot quicker than you can make it. So that 720 represents a credit score. When you can walk into a bank and start borrowing money, instead of you figuring out how to get startup capital, you need to figure out how you can borrow it if you don't have it, because you're going to go a lot faster. So you can borrow money and make money, then you're really off to the races. But you should have a strategy that incorporates both. You don't need money to start out, but if you can work on your credit, and I have great credit repair people, you can actually get into the game a lot easier, because now you can actually borrow money. So you may not be able to save up $10,000, but if you got a good score, you can go and borrow that money and you can jump right in. So credit is the most important thing, and the ability to get credit. Even as I started making money, the thing that held me back initially was actually my credit score, because you'd have highs and lows. It'd be feast or famine. You do a great deal, and then you do you don't do a good deal, and you're always using your capital. The moment that you're able to get financing on lines of credit, it kind of helps you stabilize, because you can use that capital to not only do deals, but also to potentially sustain yourself while you're involved in other deals and you haven't gotten your money back yet. So to me, I think the number that I'd be looking at is at least 720. Hope that was helpful. All right, so those are the questions for today. If you have questions, feel free to email me at gdixon@englestone.com. And who knows, maybe I'll answer your question on this video. Signing out.